Welcome back, and we are obviously dapper once more. I think it had something to do with taking a nap. A simple reload fixed the problem. I have no idea why, really. Anyway, it's time to make our way to Whitechapel. This place was pretty much the worst slum in the Western world, I think, at this time. Oh, that's nice. And this guy is a bit dangerous. Let's see if we can do this. Oops. I screwed up. I think I expected 3 and 4 to be the other way around. Okay, get it. Come on. Let's just finish you off, shall we? Oh, fine. We'll eat you to end you. Oh, and he has a little note. That's nice. Yeah, that guy can be a lot of trouble. This coming from someone who died in the sewers instead of that guy by the apothecary or whatever. Don't want to do anything about them yet.
If you spot one, fire.
Let's do something here first. I don't know how you're supposed to know there's someone to rescue in here, but I guess you're supposed to explore. I smell rodents. Oh, and someone in trouble. Yeah. I don't need to chow down on the rat. I just need to pop upstairs to get back downstairs, because of course I do. And there we go. Let's do this and see what happens. Ouch. Okay, that's fine. I think I'm too used to being more powerful than this. Oh, I should probably eat a rat. There you go.
This is despicable.
It's better than nothing. Okay. Get a closer look. Don't attack you while you're eating. It's a flaw, really. Yes, there's a lot of trouble going on downstairs, but we want to loot upstairs first. Because we're like that. Yes. That Mr. Bates is not a nice man. Which, frankly, is to be expected. Because it's the slums. I think that's everything up here. No. There we go. And down we pop. And we'll eat all this in a minute, I think.
Get away from me! Don't touch me with your disgusting hands!
Well, at least you don't have a shadow clone. I suspect I'm tapping the keys a little more violently this episode. It's probably not good. Yeah, let's get all this now. There's probably more. Yeah. And we know. Yes, there's that as well. Well, that was surprisingly easy to open.
What happened? Who are you?
It's all right, sir. You're safe now.
Oh, a fellow Englishman. Thank you, sir. For a moment I thought those bloody heathens had killed me.
What are you doing here? This place is not safe.
Yeah, it's a cesspool, but it's mine. I came to collect some overdue rent, but those who still live here have gone completely bonkers.
You're very lucky to be alive.
Yeah, filthy immigrants. Fucking savages, every one of them. And now with this bloody fever, they're just animals.
You can find safety of sorts in Whitechapel. If you're quick and cautious, you'll be able to avoid the savages.
Such a pleasant man. Granted, he's had a bit of an ordeal of late, but still.
This is Braille. I need someone who can read this.
There is someone who can read this, but I can't get access to them for a while yet, which is a tad frustrating, and I forgot something. There we go. Okay, I think we're done here. Now it's time to deal with these pre-wen. We need to be careful about it. Need to be careful about it in normal circumstances. Don't mind me, I'm just an English gentleman. I think I want to press this button this time. Yep. You can't hurt me while I'm feeding. I'm invulnerable.
Oh my god!
That's not the direction I wanted to go. I wanted to target that one. Oh crap, you don't want to be in his way when he's charging like that. Stop doing it. Pour ourselves a moment to heal before we finish him off. There we go. And there's a thing over there. We are here for a reason. And the reason is through there. Yeah. This one can also be a difficult encounter, but let's see what we can do. Fire is not your friend.
Burn it, boys!
There will be no burning here. I need to put some more points into hard biting. But by now, you've probably picked up on the relatively simplistic combat. It's pretty much going to be the same thing over and over, yeah. Still, there is a question of timing, I suppose. Now, more looting. Hello. I'll give you a moment, shall I? Yes, you're very burny. I can deal with that. Oh, you're not. Apparently I'm hitting the wrong damn button. What the hells? I'm gonna have to go through all that again, aren't I? Dingo's kidneys I am. Let's try this again, shall we? No more fire for you. Here's a steak that's actually worth a damn. It did it again. Because it does. Oh, wait, that was... Oh, never mind, it doesn't matter. If you want to look all these things up, you can look all these things up. Or you can play the game yourself. I think having them is more important than reading them anyway. There is a bit of a protracted side quest involving some of the documents you collect. We might get to that later, it depends on how we feel, experience-wise. We might do it if we feel we're still a little too light on what we can do. Oh joy, more pre-win. For some reason I can't target this one until... the one there. That one. He's very nasty.
The leech testing! Filthy fucking beast!
admit I'm kind of missing the blood leeching weaponry. Don't think there's much around here. Oh, except... don't need the rat. Do want the room. And also, yes it is. Let's take a quick look here. I don't think we've picked up enough for any of that, but yeah. If you recycle everything, well, you'll never run out of anything. Except, of course, the weapon upgrades, because those are rare and annoying.
There's more and more of these bloody leeches every night. Aye, but the guards recruit more and more every year.
When did you join the guard? 2 days ago. This is my first patrol.
There's a puppy around here. Do we want the puppy? We might want the puppy. First things first. I'm used to the ranged guy being on this corner here or something. Those are not the ones I want to be targeting now. Oh, we found one. We forgot that. Nope, none of that for you right now. We're busy. Yes, I get it. Fire, you're very mean. Let's get the fuck away. Oh, you're doing a shield thing, huh?
We have to stop it!
Yeah. Let's take care of this end. We want to eat him. Let us eat him in peace. Ow. Good, he's dead. Oops. Nope. You know what? Just sit there. There is something to be said for biting people to death. Who else was around here? Where did they die? Ah. Okay. Let's go pet the puppy. That was fine. And that's who he was eating. Can't say I blame him. Or her, we don't know. You have to give some consideration to who you're eating. I mean, do scallops taste nicely and... I think they're far enough. With you. More of your freaking fire. I'm sick of your fire. I want to eat to death.
Christ, he's dead!
Yes, with more heart biting, I will definitely be able to do something with that. What was I saying? Oh yeah, skulls probably taste nasty. And let's just check over here again. Not again, this is the other end. We don't particularly want to go that way, but yeah, it's a bloody mess because it's a slum. And that is the slummiest bit of the slum, which we don't particularly care to visit. Now, is there anything else around here? Yes, there is. No, there isn't. Maybe I already did it. Anyway, welcome to Whitechapel.
Whitechapel. This neighborhood is linked somehow to the kind Lady Ashbury's blackmail.
I don't know if she's kind.
First, let's find this Petrescu fellow.
I'm betting puppies are much better to eat than skulls, basically.
You're a disgrace, lad. Fuck you all! Fuck it all! Stop it now, Albert, stop it!
Well, that's a bit disturbing. We'll do that first.
I won't end up another drunk arsehole littering the streets. Not
Are you all right?
the bastard hit the wall next to me. I don't even know if he meant to miss.
If you've been hurt, I can help you. I'm a doctor.
Name's Albert. Remember it. Now bugger off.
There's no real angle for this guy when he's sitting there.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? If you know anything about her, I'd appreciate it.
Never heard of her. She's pretty, I'll keep an eye out.
What happened? Did you really steal that man's medication?
Hey, I didn't do anything, it ain't me.
Medication and drugs are a rare commodity in East London. So you picked an easy target, didn't you?
Sod off, mister. You ain't got no clue what's going on here. Bastard was a soldier in the war, so now he's got the right to shoot me.
It's true. I'm not familiar with this part of town. Perhaps you could help me.
I said sod off. Go find yourself another guide.
Nothing there yet. But
I found the recruiter you were expecting. He's dead, but he carried a note. The Wet Boot Boys have accepted your application.
I knew it! I told you I was tough enough. I'll be free soon.
we've never spoken before, and you haven't. I suppose I should only give that to him after we've chatted.
You're being manipulated by these criminals. What's worse is that you're clever enough to know better.
You're all fancy words, none of which concern me. Go worry about someone else. I'm fine and I've a future here.
Goodbye, young man.
Me? I'll not die in some piss-stinking alley reeking worse than a week-old lavvy.
If there's one person to eat, it's probably him.
Wasted your life away.
I guess idiocy isn't a...
Another drunk
Sort of
arsehole
bloody
littering the
joke to you,
streets.
eh?
Not me.
Stealing drugs from the sick and suffering.
Yeah, it's probably not a capital punishment kind of crime. Being stupid.
The wet boot.
What?
Shooting a boy in the middle of the street. Not the best thing to do, wouldn't you say?
What? You saw what happened? Who are you?
I'm Dr. Reed, and I'd like to ask you a few questions, if you promise me to set your gun aside.
No. Look, I'm not a violent man. I'm Benjamin Palmer, doctor. And no one can help me. Not even you.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? Have you heard anything?
It's funny, I've been searching for her too. I need some pills. But the woman is a phantom, if you ask me.
Really? And why is that?
Word is she ain't real. She's a cover for some doctor who runs an illegal dispensary for migrants.
Maybe I shouldn't ask about Nurse Crane first either.
What can you tell me about this place?
Nothing to say, really. This is where I used to live, and this is where I live now.
You don't have anywhere to go? No family that would welcome you?
Not since the death of my wife, Albert's mother. She was sick, you see. Long before the flu and all this shit.
You mean you used to have a better life?
Yeah, I had a wife, a home, and a job. I even used to have a name. And now I'm just Ben. Ben the Tramp.
Perhaps you could focus for a moment and tell me your troubles.
I'm sick, broke, and my son just stole my pills. Everything's coming up roses.
Whatever the boy did, I'm sure he didn't deserve a public execution.
I swear I didn't want to hit him. It's just that I'm sick in the head, you see, and the boy just frayed me last nerve.
What is it, Benjamin? It was the war, wasn't it? Your nerves are shot, aren't they? I need some answers, Private. From one soldier to another.
The doctors called me a liar, a coward. Put me in a straitjacket, locked me up. Finally, they sent me back to the front lines with a handful of tablets.
It's a pity that doctors still practice such barbaric methods. It's a dishonor to our profession.
Now only the pills stop me thinking about this shit. To not hear the explosions. I'm even scared of the dark these days.
No idea if Dr. Reed is actually so forward-thinking. I guess that's it for now.
A gun, alcohol, and a bad temper make a terrible cocktail, sir. Goodbye for now.
The wet boots will be proud of me.
But a century of hindsight is a wonderful thing.
This elixir will give you faith again.
Oh, really? Let's see who says that, shall we?
The Swanborough cordial can be the answer to all your problems. As
Someday you'll understand.
Oh, come on.
You've wasted your life away.
It does this occasionally, I'm afraid.
It's all a bloody joke to you, isn't it?
Good evening, miss.
Good evening, sir. Are you interested in a miraculous cure for this unknown and deadly epidemic?
Actually, I am.
Then you have come to the right place. The famous Swanborough cordial is all you need to help keep you in perfect health.
Oh, really? Why didn't I hear about it during my studies? I'm Jonathan Reed, by the way. Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Ah, my brother has spoken of your research, sir. I'm Loretta Swanborough, and it's always a pleasure to meet a fellow healer.
Tell me, who intrigues you most in Whitechapel?
The region itself is something to see, but I would say Camellia the mute florist who gives away her flowers.
What do you think of the locals?
Most of them are afraid or desperate. They all come to me eventually for my remedy.
Is there anyone I should avoid?
Cadogan Bates, without a doubt. The bloody bastard remorselessly exploits poor migrants as soon as they get here.
Well, that's nice of her.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
I don't like to talk about competition.
Competition, you say?
Never met her, but it seems she provides some sort of medical care to the poor. The whole thing has to be some sort of scam, if you ask me.
Yours isn't? Yeah, let's take a look.
I'd like to see what kind of medicine you're selling.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I want to go that way.
What do you want? Leave me alone.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I'm looking for Nurse Dorothy Crane.
There is no Dorothy Crane here. Now goodbye.
I'm afraid this medical leaflet says the opposite, sir.
Really? Well, I'm afraid I'm going to close this door right now. Go bother someone else, Mr. Doctor.
To enter that house, I must discover who this man really is. Maybe I could start by observing what he's up to.
Let's see if the nurse's textures kick in properly this time. It's a bit hit and miss. I think it's probably because of the distance. Yep.
A strange man was at the door with a pass for our medical facility. I refused him entry.
Darius, how could you know he didn't need our help?
His clothes were too finely tailored to be for Whitechapel.
Perhaps just a friend of that stray poet who is always about.
Richard Nethercott? No, not of the same cloth, this man. I suspect some machination from that journalist.
Clayton Darby. Is he still asking questions?
Yes. I saw him drifting around St. Mary's Church. I swear he is tracking me just downwind.
I must talk to that journalist or the poet. They must know about Darius. Nearby the church they just mentioned.
Well, that's convenient. I have to go talk to more people. And here are some now.
Cheap price, good quality. Come on, take a look.
Welcome,
Don't be
sir.
afraid.
Please, take a browse of my wares.
I am Dr. Reed. I would like to ask you a few questions, if you don't mind.
Doctor? Interesting. I'm Barrett Lewis. Usually I don't have time to waste with talk, but at this hour of the night I can hardly refuse.
Have you heard of a nurse called Dorothy Crane?
Nurse Crane? So the bitch really is a nurse, then? Always thought she was just some crafty foreigner, that one.
So she's trying to help her fellow immigrants. Why would that make her a villain?
Dorothy Crane ain't even a real name. Something like Dorothea Craniu. Something like that. Came to England fleeing the war, I was told.
That doesn't explain why she irritates you so much.
Your precious Nurse Crane gives away medical supplies and prescriptions for free. I offered to sell it for a fair cut, but no. Miss Crane wanted to play the quiet saint.
Can't blame her.
How is business around here?
Business? I had no business. Between this racket, theft, and customers getting scared, I'm losing money every day.
I see. Sounds like you blame someone in particular for your situation.
It's no secret Joe Peterson spends his time harassing merchants. But with me, he's trying to put me out of business once and for all.
As a merchant, you see Whitechapel every day. Have you noticed anything out of the ordinary recently?
Well, you mean besides the epidemic, the war, and all the usual crap? As long as I can remember, this part of town has been a bottomless pit, and no sign of the bottom yet.
Violence is increasing in the borough.
Yeah. A few nights ago, some blokes jumped me. Came out of one of the condemned workshops. Fever, madness, something like that.
Where did this happen? Why did you go there?
In the closed workshops nearby. I worked there as an apprentice in better days. Now I only go to find trinkets or tools. Too bad I was mugged, though. There was good money in that little box of loot I lost.
Have you been hurt?
No, but that's only because I ran like hell. Those men were raving lunatics, I tell you. Not even able to speak anymore, just screaming.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Lewis.
Whitechapel is next to the docks, and I think it started out on the edge of the city proper. So it started off as like a industrial thing.
Excuse me, sir. I have a few questions for you.
Another
After writing this
journalist?
time.
I didn't answer the first one, so piss off!
I'm not a journalist, I'm a doctor.
A doctor, you say? It's quite a rare breed in this part of town.
Really? But still, here I am. Dr. Jonathan Reed, at your service.
I'm Joe Peterson to some, but Colossus Joe to most. And I don't remember asking for your service, sir.
Have you heard of a nurse named Dorothy Crane? She's a colleague of mine, and is supposed to live around here.
Dorothy Crane? Yeah, I know her. One of the few good souls who dare to help the sick around here.
Could you please tell me more about her?
She's a nice girl. Tries to help the migrants. I offered to give her a hand, but she said my reputation would attract too much attention.
According to you, physicians are scarce in this part of town. Why is that?
Not familiar with this neighborhood, are you? I guess your fancy colleagues are too afraid of being stabbed in the back.
This part of town does have quite a reputation. Would you say it's justified?
Totally. Look at me, for instance. I always look my opponent in the eye before knocking him out.
May I ask what you do around here?
I do whatever I want, and sometimes even more. Now sod off.
How did you become the local bully everyone is afraid of, Joe?
There's no pride in roughing up poor bastards. But this is the only job I've found. And it pays well, too.
A job? So you're racketeering for someone else?
I got enlisted by the Wet Boot Boys, a gang from the docks. I'm their muscle for their dirty work.
Most people don't become thugs when unemployed. This is a choice you made.
I don't care what you think, sir. I do what I have to do for my own reasons, and that's that.
I'm not sure Mr. Lewis would agree with your by all means necessary philosophy, sir.
Oh, do you really think he's the poor victim here? Barrett can be as sneaky as anyone. Long ago, I even called the bastard my best friend.
Goodbye, Mr. Peterson.
Walking away, or are you walking to him? Yes, there's an altercation to view here.
Joe, please, I don't have your money.
Come on, Barrett, you know the game. You pay for peace of mind.
Can't you just look the other way this week, Joe? Come on, we can sort it out, right?
It's not my call, Barrett. You pay one way or another.
Please, Joe. How long have we known each other? We even used to be neighbours, for Christ's sake.
I'd prefer not to give you another beating, Barrett.
I don't get that impression. I think he would like to beat him up, actually. We could go talk to that smeghead up there. Or we could go get what's-his-name's box back. So yeah, let's go with the more violent option, shall we? Oh. That's a nasty one. We'll go after this one first. Garlic, lovely. And I'm eating him, your garlic nozzle thing can't hurt me so much. Ow. Ow, ow. Ah! It hurts more than I remember. Okay, now that I've switched the skills around to what I'm used to, let's get back to this. Go ram it. Have to turn around. can I...
Take its head! Filthy piece of shit!
This is not going much better. Why are they always surprised at the leech has teeth? I think we're finished off with that. There we go. It's still a bit messy, but well, better than last time, obviously. I didn't drop anything this time, I don't think. No, we don't want to smash through barricades here. It lets things loose, kind of. And I'm pretty sure... Yep. Hello, puppy! Just staying put. Nope, you're gonna have to come out here. Oh, you cheeky little... Not quite enough to finish him. There we go. Yeah, maybe I should have kept him inside where he couldn't eat anyone. Okay, what's on the ground floor here? Not much as I recall. Yeah, that's it. There is a way up. Now we could drop down and kill things. Yeah, only where we have to. Killing things doesn't do as much for us as it does with other difficulties. And... where is it? Here? Yes.
This could be the box Lewis thought he lost. A love letter from Joe Peterson's wife, addressed to Barrett Lewis.
Well, that explains that.
Who should I give it to, I wonder?
We could go back the way we came, but it'll be more interesting if we go this way. Let's see. We got... Oh, he's not good with... Let's do that this way. Let's just get it. Stop that. Stop that, and let me eat him. Thank you. You stay put. It doesn't do as much to you as I'd like, but... I'm feeling decidedly sloppy today. I don't like it. Everything.
Fancy buying something, sir?
You never lose your focus, do you? I found this box in an abandoned building nearby. I believe it belongs to you.
Let's have a look. Yeah, this is mine. So, you faced those loons that roam around there. Extraordinary.
I suppose I was lucky.
Luck is a commodity round here. Yours should be properly rewarded.
About this package, it's not just tools and trinkets, is it?
Don't want to be rude or anything after your kind gesture, but it's none of your business.
But I'm a big gossip, and I want to talk about these things. And I've already done all of those, yeah.
Joe Peterson. He's the villain here, isn't he? But you seem to know each other.
I'd known Joe for years. I saw him box once or twice. He was a friend then. But these days, he's just another thug.
What can you tell me about Mr. Peterson? Besides his behavior toward you, obviously.
Colossus Joe was a decent boxer, good one even. But after his wife passed away, he found every excuse to stop training. Just wanted to pick fights with everyone.
It's never easy to find a new path in life, especially after the loss of a loved one. But crime is certainly not the best option.
We've all had some rough times, ain't we? But most of us don't use our fists to see us through.
And no one has ever stood up to this thug.
Nobody would be fool enough to stand against a wet boot boy.
Barrett, you had an affair with Joe's wife, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. She's the only woman I loved. My first regret is that she stayed with Joe after Harry was born. The second is I never shed a tear when she died.
Do you mean you're Harry's father?
No one will ever know for sure. And it's better that way. And I don't believe I'd have been all that bad as a dad.
Did you ever try talking to Joe?
Never. But I suspected he knew everything, even without knowing it. And he decided to make me pay in his own way.
Well, some would argue it's what you deserve.
Right then. Show me what you have.
Right then. We want these. And these. Nah.
Soon the time will
Excuse me, sir. Are you familiar with this part of town? Name's Clayton Darby, reporter.
Sorry, I'm new to Whitechapel. But perhaps you could help me since you're a journalist. My name is Jonathan Reed.
Dr. Reed, the famous surgeon. I'll gladly help if I'm able, sir.
What is a journalist doing in this borough after sunset?
He goes where none of his colleagues would dare to go, to inform the country.
So you risk your life to reveal the truth. I saw many reporters do the same during the war.
Whitechapel is the crucible of so many untold stories and tragedies. I want people to know them.
That's quite honorable of you. But is the public interested?
Not at all, sir. And that's why I'm an independent journalist, hoping to sell some stories.
Why are the newspapers keeping silent about the Spanish influenza? It's as though none of you care.
There's a war going on. People shouldn't be demoralized by news of deadly diseases.
Yeah.
I served in France. Our top priority must be to put an end to this butchery. This war must stop now.
Sir, streets are a battlefield too. An invisible and untold war is going on, and it must be stopped.
I agree.
Have you any idea of the danger you face in these streets at night?
I've had to run and hide more than once from frenzied mobs incensed by the fever. Do you think the flu is really responsible for this, Doctor?
That science is unable to explain the facts doesn't mean there is no rational explanation.
I confess, I share your point of view, Doctor.
I heard you're investigating an underground medical dispensary in Whitechapel. What do you know about it?
Not much, I'm afraid. They are wary of strangers, and I'm not really an acquaintance of theirs. Why do you care?
It's confidential. Speaking as a doctor, I'm sure you understand.
Are you sure you're not just concerned about the repercussions that a scandal involving a certain Nurse Crane from the Pembroke Hospital would bring?
Without a doubt, you are a damn fine journalist, Mr. Darby. What do you know of her accomplice, a man named Darius?
I don't know much about the man. He's very cautious.
Never goes out. Doesn't seem to have any friends or family.
He has no relatives at all?
No. Except for that strange man, a poet named Richard Nithercott, who sometimes comes by. Darius would never let him in.
Where can I find this Mr. Nithercott?
He spends most of his time lurking around Whitechapel, talking to himself or declaring verses. These days, you can usually find him behind the church.
He never goes out?
No. A few days ago, he unexpectedly did. I followed him, but it was just a ruse to keep me away from his house.
Really? How do you know?
He went to the nearest mailbox, but just before posting his letter, he ripped it up and threw it away.
That doesn't necessarily mean it had anything to do with you. None of these yet.
Goodbye, Mr. Darby. Farewell.
Oh yeah. This is the one guy we should eat if we were to eat anyone.
Forgive my interruption.
Do not apologize, my son. Father Tobias Whitaker is always happy to teach mortals about the incoming Armageddon.
I am Dr. Jonathan Reed, and I just have a few questions.
A scientist? You are much more lost than I thought, my son.
What do you mean when you say that I am more lost than you thought?
All scientists are entangled in a world of causes and consequences, and most of them can't see the plain truth.
Quite a judgmental opinion, if you ask me. But what do I know? Blinded by science as I am.
But you are seeking answers, aren't you? Answers about the Armageddon about to strike the city. Answers about the hidden truth.
I am. But the answers I seek are based on facts, not superstition.
Yeah, we'll have that conversation another time.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
I don't like the liberal ideas of nurses, but I especially abhor that Nurse Crane you mentioned.
So, you're not exactly a fan of Florence Nightingale's work. But nurses are essential for modern healthcare.
Nuns should be the only women allowed to take care of male patients. It's obvious only they have the necessary moral fiber.
Why do you hate Nurse Crane more than other nurses?
Before coming to London, she was a member of the communist resistance in our country. That's what happens when you let a woman get involved in politics.
Such a smeghead.
I have heard enough for tonight. Goodbye.
Behind the church. Oh dear. Let's go get the thing from that one. And then deal with these. But the job is done regardless. Guess that's all of them. Yeah. I think there's something to pick up around this corner before we go. Yep. Okay.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I would like to ask you a few questions.
Please be my guest. Although I may not be the best informant regarding this part of town,
My words speak about that which the eyes cannot see.
Really? Are you an artist of some kind?
I'm a poet, sir. Richard Nethercott, at your service.
Are you aware that your life could be in danger in this part of town?
But this is where I must be to feel the real beat of the city. I had to come, see it for myself, alone.
I understand your need for solitude, but it's not safe around here.
I don't care. I don't have many friends, Doctor, and my family despises me.
If some misfortune came upon you, who would be here to help you?
Well, you, for a start, my dear Doctor.
No, I'm not exactly going to be sticking around.
May I ask what you're doing at this hour of night, sir? Do you live here?
Not at all. I'm just enjoying the pleasure of a quiet walk. Though night talks are always preferable, if you ask me. Especially with strangers.
But are you not afraid of the epidemic?
Oh, why should I? I see some equity in the Spanish flu. No flesh should be saved, say the scriptures. Good or evil, rich or poor, all are equal in the eyes of the flu.
If you say so. But as a physician in a time of epidemic, I must caution you to avoid unnecessary exposure, sir.
Thank you, Doctor. But we both know the seeker of truth has to go boldly where the weak dare not.
What are your thoughts on the terrible situation in this city?
Terrible, you say? No. Of course, the death of so many innocents is a tragedy. But the scourge has not been all bad for the city. Oh, no, sir.
What are you talking about?
Do you remember London before the flu? Noisy, cacophonic, quiet nowhere to be found. And now, listen to this oddly peaceful silence.
Yes. The enjoyable silence of the grave. You have a unique perspective on the situation, I must admit.
Most people fail to understand my perspective. I don't blame them. But how could I call myself a poet if I veiled my feelings?
May I ask you a few questions about the district?
Extraordinary part of town, is it not? I'll be glad to help you, if I can.
I'm looking for Dorothy Crane, a nurse who lives in this vicinity.
Dorothy Crane. Oh, I love the name. The Crane of Whitechapel. Sounds very mysterious. But, sorry, no, never heard of her.
What can you tell me about an old man called Darius?
Darius Petrescu? Yes, I know him. At first, I thought he was only a small publisher. I invited him to publish my work, but his reaction was pretty clear.
Not interested in your talent?
Darius is an old political activist who takes delight in printing tracts and lampoons. Those communist activities only require mediocre writing skills.
I think that's everything. Oh.
Tell me, Mr. Nethercott, why seek inspiration in Whitechapel?
The place is not beautiful per se, but how to explain it? Stirring and challenging.
Do you not think it a little morbid?
On the contrary, sir. Whitechapel is full of life, full of beauty. Just like my dear muse, the wonderful Camellia.
What can you tell me about Camellia?
Not much. And that's the beauty of it. She can't speak, you know. She's a locked mystery who exhales kindness and sweetness.
And have you ever tried to learn more about her? Where she lives? How she survives? Whom she may know?
Maybe I prefer she remains an enigma. Reality can be so dull, don't you think?
Perhaps you're just afraid to find out the truth about your muse.
One day, perhaps, I'll ask her to come with me. But will she still be my wild flower of Whitechapel if she moves uptown?
Probably not.
In what way, exactly?
The struggle by gaslight, the barren smiles, and the arid hunger under the rain.
If you say so.
Such vibrant antagonism and vivid paradox. The stripped humanity raged across each street.
Vivid, of course, yes. And what about the poignant distress?
Oh yes, the poignant distress. You see what I mean, don't you? That's what I want to write about, and that's what Whitechapel is made of.
I don't think this guy is a suspect for the
I'll
Jack the
leave
Ripper
you alone,
murders,
sir.
but... Oh, yeah, there's a couple of things to pick up. Including... It did it again. Don't you hate that? Yeah, let's go bug him about this too. Or... We'll be talking to everyone again anyway. Speak of the lady. She is doing things. There are things she is doing. They are interesting. Yep.
Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reed. I'd like to ask you a few questions. I know what you're thinking. A tall stranger who meets a girl in the street at night. It reeks of the penny dreadfuls. But I mean you no harm, truly.
She does not seem concerned.
I know you understand what I'm saying. Your silence has nothing to do with you being mute, does it?
How would you know that?
Melia, I know you work for Dorothy Crane. Please tell me about her secret dispensary. A stubborn and mute comrade. Nurse Crane and Darius Petrescu have been clever. Tell me about Richard Nethercott. I understand he is quite fond of you, Camellia.
It's not really my business, though, is it?
Very well. Goodbye, then.
It's just interesting.
The content of Darius' letter to his children could give me more leverage to enter. Darius is a bit less of a mystery now. It should not be that difficult to incite him to let me in.
Don't be shy, handsome. What can Christina do for you?
I'm not looking for what you're selling. But I'd like to ask you a few questions, if I may. I'm a doctor. Dr. Reed.
All right then, but be quick. Though I usually get paid when I open my mouth.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? Anything you can tell me about her would be helpful.
I don't know her, but I know her name is Dorothea Crasionescu. She came from Romania like me and many others.
You seem to respect her.
Dorothea helps the sick people of Whitechapel. Everyone should respect that.
I think I want to go this way around.
Tell me about yourself.
Are you joking with me? People don't usually come to see me for conversation.
I have no interest in your work. I am, however, curious as to what led you into this career.
Short story. The war, exile, and England. This country is not especially welcoming. I've been refused many jobs because of where I am from. I had few options left.
I always thought I was the master of my own fate. But now I know we don't always have control over our lives. I don't judge you.
You know, this money is not only for me. I have good reasons to need this money quickly. But it is not your concern, Doctor.
You're not wrong.
Christina, have you been examined? The epidemic is spreading fast in London, and you could be exposed. Or expose others.
I don't like doctors or hospitals, but I don't like you asking questions.
Considering your line of work, I assure you it is only a matter of time before you have health issues.
If it is going to happen, it will happen. Right now, I need money. That's what's important.
You can put your own life in danger, that's your decision. But what about your clients? If you're contaminated, you will put them in danger too.
And you think that would worry me? If you knew the men I deal with, their health would not be what you'd worry about.
Clayton Darby claims he will expose the crisis in Whitechapel to all of London. Do you believe him?
I believe Clayton's courage will erode with time, until he finally leaves Whitechapel to start another fight somewhere else.
Why this skepticism?
How can you speak about starvation if you've never been hungry? Or about poverty? Or anything else you have never suffered from?
Are you talking from experience?
I've seen your type come here to get a good fuck in a cheap room or a dark alley before going back to their fancy houses in the West End.
Goodbye, miss. Take care of yourself as best you can.
Right. That's almost everyone, I think. That's the brother, who happens to be blind, but we can't get into his place until we... what is it, mesmerize? Yeah. Until you can mesmerize enough. And there's his son. And a bunch of sick people. Worry about that later. Right now...
Joe, please, I don't have your money. Come on, Barry.
let's get this done before we call it a night.
Mr. Petrescu, just 1 minute, please.
You again? Go away.
Sir, wait. Stop this nonsense. I know Nurse Crane is here. Shall we speak man to man, you and I?
All right. Speak up.
Don't you see we're on the same side? We fight to help the poor, sick, and abandoned.
I'm nothing like you, Mr. Doctor.
Yes, you are. You too believe in providing medical care without charge. You know what we have to sacrifice to make the world a better place.
I have to admit your words have conviction. All right, I'll let you see Dorothea. Don't make me regret this, though.
Well, I might make you regret this, because the first thing I'm going to do is loot everything in here. Not that there are any repercussions or anything. That's everything on this side. Oh, solid. And this we can only unlock if you kill him, which we're not going to do.
If you want to talk to Dorothea, you must go across the courtyard and take the stairs.
We've not been formally introduced. May I ask your name and occupation, sir?
I am Darius Petrescu. I'm here to keep snitches and spies away from Dorothea. And I also run this little print shop.
Did you refuse to publish Richard Nethercott's previous works, Darius?
Yes. His manuscript is as pompous as he is starched. Now there's a man who loves the sound of his own voice.
You could have told him so.
As a great writer recently said, politeness is the most acceptable hypocrisy.
Tell me everything you know about Camellia, the mute florist.
I do not believe in the afterlife, Doctor, but I'm almost convinced Camellia is an angel. She volunteered to give out our medical leaflets.
Who is she, really? Do you know where she's from?
She's not from around here, that's all we know. Camellia is not even her name. It's her favorite flower.
You say she has no close family?
Well, there's that awful poet who constantly follows her around like a lost puppy. A good man for sure, but a very poor writer.
Are you not worried for her safety?
She is as brave as she is tough, and clever too. If only I had met her when I was younger.
Are you in love with Camellia, Mr. Petrescu?
Don't be stupid. If I had met her when I was younger, we could have won our revolution.
So Dorothy's real name is not Crane?
Like myself and many people in this area, Dorothea is from occupied Romania. That's all you need to know.
She seems important to the community.
More than you can imagine. The West End does not want to hear of Whitechapel's misery. Dorothea is one of the few doing something about it.
Do you have any family left, Mr. Petrescu? Children or grandchildren?
Who knows? I have abandoned my people for so long, they might as well be dead. As dead as I am for them, I suppose.
In polite society, I don't think I'd give this option, but, insight.
Don't be embarrassed, sir. If you must know, my own father disappeared many years ago, and I forgave him.
It's quite awkward to talk about our families like this, but thank you, Dr. Reed. I appreciate your trust.
This war won't last forever. Did you ever think of returning to your country now it's free?
No. I have taught strength and determination to my sons and daughters. I'm an old, dying man who only has memories of better times to cherish.
I know you fought for your country when it was occupied, Darius. Tell me more about it.
I know my days are numbered, and I know I won't see my homeland again. But I fought for Romania all my life, and I will until my last breath.
But Romania escaped the grasp of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. It's a free country again.
It is not the country I fought for. My homeland is not appeased, Doctor. But I still see a dark future ahead for my people.
How did you meet Nurse Crane, Darius? Why does she trust you?
I'm her oldest friend in England. Dorothea and I share many ideas about this country and about the country we left.
You mean occupied Romania, don't you? Even if not directly, I fought against your enemies.
Really? Then perhaps you have more in common with Dorothea than meets the eye, Dr. Reed.
I think that's everything.
Goodbye, Mr. Petrescu.
Yeah, sometimes it seems that your conversation choices should really be made in a particular order. So, pick up everything in here later.
I need help!
What do we have here, nurse?
Patient Razvan Vasily. High fever running on 3 days. Complaints of dizziness, muscle aches, and head pain. Diagnosed with influenza.
Treatment?
Aspirin and salicin for the fever and discomfort. Liquids for dehydration, but he's having trouble keeping even water down.
Thank you, nurse. Anything else I should know?
He did lose consciousness this morning, but he's never had convulsions like these.
He's not convulsing, he's choking. He's not getting any air. Scalpel! Hand me that scalpel!
What can I do, Doctor?
I need to perform a tracheostomy. Short pipe. That rubber tube will do. We're going to cut a passage for air through the neck.
Yes, Doctor. He's breathing again, but he's coughing up blood.
Internal hemorrhaging. I need to make another incision into the chest cavity to drain the fluids from the lung. Prepare another tube.
A thoracostomy? Doctor, we've nothing to fight the infection. We need an aseptic environment.
Don't question me, nurse. I need a drain. Now.
Yes, Doctor. He's still bleeding, Doctor. I'm losing his pulse.
The drain must have punctured the intercostal artery. There's too much blood.
Are you all right, Doctor?
I can't see. I must first suture the artery. Find the wound. The source of the blood.
Needle and thread, Doctor.
Good. The stitches are holding. How's he doing?
We're losing him. We've lost his pulse. He's dying, Doctor!
A dose of epinephrine, now.
Yes, Doctor. We've lost the pulse. He's gone, Doctor.
Nurse, we did everything we could.
Yes, I know. You are true to your reputation, Dr. Reed. Dedicated and precise. No one could have done more.
This was not an influenza-induced seizure. I've never seen symptoms like these on the continent.
Neither have I. But the previous symptoms leading up to this attack were the same, indistinguishable from the epidemic.
No. There was something more vile in these reactions. Something primitive.
There have been numerous reports of mental breakdowns caused by the fever that accompanies the flu itself, Doctor.
Yes, but... I'd best take some samples of the blood for analysis.
I doubt you're here to test my bedside manners. I suspect it was more than intuition alone that led you to us. So, how might I be of service, Dr. Reed?
I've come to put an end to this insufferable blackmailing, Dorothy.
Doctor, you think your warnings scare me? I've stolen and plied, blackmailed and lied, but what else am I to do? I'm all these people have.
Dr. Swansea is a sensible and honest man. He wouldn't have refused your friend's care at Pembroke.
It's easy for you to say, Doctor. These people cannot go to the police, nor to the hospital. They don't even speak English. They depend on me for everything.
But why Lady Ashbury? Why her, of all people?
She's pristine and proper, all right. But that she-wolf in sheep's clothing murders the poor for sport. I have her where she belongs, and I'll milk her for all she's got.
You saw what I am, so you know what she is, and you're playing a very dangerous game. Well, she doesn't actually know, but if I had the option, I would tell her why it's very dangerous.
So, the end justifies the means. Is that your defense?
I know you're kind, Doctor. Just another fine-heeled, silver-spooned gentleman who was given the world on a platter. You know nothing of poverty. Nothing of the shame, the hunger, the loneliness.
You've convinced me of the sincerity of your actions and their noble justifications. But all the same, blackmail is a crime, and it will stop, Nurse Crane.
So, are you going to turn me over to the authorities?
We don't actually get that option. Charming her does not go well. Eating her, of course, doesn't either.
No. Your place is here. Jailing you would be an even greater crime. So, Here is my proposition. I'll look the other way on your little enterprise. In exchange, you will resign from the Pembroke Hospital and provide me with medical supplies when the need arises.
Dr. Reed! That sounds like a business proposition. My accomplice, then?
No, just a privileged client. My research may require the occasional rare piece of equipment or ingredient. I'll pay good coin in exchange, fair and honest, to help finance your noble endeavors.
We have ourselves a deal, Doctor. Good customers are always welcome.
Yes, Nurse Crane. We have a deal.
And now we can eat more citizens. Not that we're going to. Not a lot up here, I don't think. Well, that's not encouraging, is it? One thing at a time. Oh, he's going over there now.
The flu killed this one.
Does he notice me if I go over here? He might have.
Step back, sir.
Yep, he saw me.
Best run along home, sir.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do this.
Mine! I'll take it!
Just over here then. He obviously did the charge.
This one's mine! It's head!
Maybe I should get the more blood per bite thing too. No, you're done. Did they drop anything else? Yeah. And we will unlock both of these. Just in case. Well, that was fun. And now... Now, let's find our haven, shall we?
Take a look, don't be afraid.
No, I'm not spying on him yet. spy on him and his son up there, but for now, we have to make our way to our new hideout. Hideout? Hideout. Hidey hole. Hidey hole. No, just out. No. We're safe already, but there's stuff to pick up. Guess this was a community dwelling of some sort. There's nothing in here? No, there isn't. Always best to check, you never know. Well, this is pleasant. There's more action through that door. Should we do it now? I don't know, I think we've done enough. I think we shall end it here-ish. Let's check if we can do anything yet. Yes, we can. Nice. And what about this? Yeah. What else? We don't really need to do that. So I suppose we might as well check, but I think we've already used too many. Yeah. That's alright, that's good. We're happy. So yeah, what you do with Dorothy Crane is a big deal. And if you mesmerize her, well, you don't do it so well, basically. She ends up a a rather difficult one. But, I don't think you're actually punished for that. I can't recall. Let's get our health up a bit, shall we? Oh. Oh. Yes. The ultimate shadow power. Now we can't afford more of that, can we? Nope. I don't think we can afford anything now. But yes, we're good with that. Now. There we go. Still alive, things are still serious, but we're going to fix that because we're going to get... well, we're going to heal what we can of all this. Lots of fatigue, I think. Can't do anything about him yet. I think we can with him. Also, I enjoy this music. Take a look at Pembroke. Healthy. Haven't visited those two yet. Again, love this soundtrack. That's where we're going to call it. So, I will see you next time. And hopefully I won't die as much next time. That would be nice.